Hello there, my name's Card. I'm a long-time progressive community organizer and activist, and here on my YouTube page, I like to make videos about the goings-on of the world. Today, I wanted to just briefly talk about a notable recent piece of media that was released into the world, and what we can learn from looking at how it was received. For those who don't know, conservative American newsman Tucker Carlson, formerly of Fox News, recently ran to Elon Musk's Twitter to keep doing his far-right conspiracist shtick after he got fired. Between his established name recognition and how much Twitter has been willing to artificially boost his ratings over there, Carlson's been managing to just cling on to relevance ever since. He got a fairly big, exclusive piece recently when he released a fiery pre-taped interview with Donald Trump timed to compete with the US Republican Party's primary debate, and it almost looked like he had found a model for his new show that he could keep going. Making big claims, putting together sensationalized stories, and confidently assuming that the reactionary hogs who make up his audience would keep happily eating it up. But Carlson's general metrics, coupled with the immense flop of his latest bombshell investigative report, suggest he's no longer doing so well, and there's some pretty distinct lessons to be learnt here. About a week or so ago now, Tucker Carlson released an interview with a man named Larry Sinclair, who alleges, years ago, he had an on-again off-again series of explicit homosexual encounters with the then junior Illinois Senator Barack Obama. Sinclair's claims are patently untrue. Explaining exactly why isn't what I want to do in this video, however. If you are interested in hearing that, I'm sure that there will be someone on this very platform who could give you a comprehensive debunking of Mr. Sinclair's claims. But what I want to do here is explain just what platforming this crank means for the future of Tucker Carlson's media career, and why not even most of his buddies on the far right have been remotely interested in hearing this complete nonsense. I want to address why Tucker Carlson's gay Obama story flopped. The first thing that really ought to be noted here is that the right-wing media machine couldn't even get this story to take off the first time, when it came up during Obama's original term as president about 14 years ago now. And it was exceedingly easy to make conservative fluff pieces that complain about Obama to take off back then. Remember the thing about how he wore a tan suit that one time, and every talking head on Fox cried about it for a month? Or when he ordered the fancy mustard? Conservative media a decade ago would go after people over the dumbest things imaginable. But at least they'd make mountains out of molehills that actually existed. Tucker Carlson has chosen to attack the former president over something so obviously fake that even the average GOP voting boomer would really have to stretch the limits of what they'll believe to get mad about this. And they're usually willing to believe a lot. Not only is Carlson willing to utterly debase himself over something entirely fictitious being peddled by a man with a long history of making things up for attention, Obama hasn't even been the president for years at this point. He's not in the public eye, and no one really cares about him. Maybe you'd have gotten a bit more attention if you had the audacity to say this thing back when he was still in office. But Obama's not even out on the campaign trail or anything for his DNC successors now. You'd have had as much success making up a story about Woodrow Wilson for all the impact it would have on the Democrat Party of today. This is really bottom-of-the-barrel stuff. As an actual leftist, I don't even like Barack Obama, or any US president, but the people criticizing him could at least try to come up with stuff that's real. I think it speaks volumes that Tucker Carlson, who was only a few years ago, unfortunately one of the most viewed and most trusted sources of news in America now can't even gin up enthusiasm among his most die-hard fans and has to resort to just doing this nonsense. Remember, the claim isn't even that Obama took advantage of anyone. Larry Sinclair just says that they had consensual sex. And consensual sex, even if it's gay, isn't actually a crime, or even immoral in the eyes of anyone in touch with reality. Meanwhile, Tucker's base is more than happy to just ignore the dozens and dozens of accusations of sexual assault against Donald Trump because he's their guy. Carlson and his team tried to hype up this Larry Sinclair interview as the surprise media event of the year, but remarkably, it doesn't look like anyone on the right wants to talk about it now. The only people discussing it are basically just us lefties making fun of how far Carlson has fallen. He's utterly clutching at straws here, and not even the online reactionary crank sphere is all that into it. But it does go to show just how effective removing Tucker from actual television has turned out to be, if this is what he's turned into. We all know the man doesn't mind lying and making things up to suit the worldview he pushes, but he's not going to think there's much of a point to it if he's not even getting the warm response he's chasing. His current Twitter show model is completely untenable. He's simply fading out, and will most certainly give it up entirely if he keeps bombing hard like this. So, if you don't like him, like I certainly don't, just keep that in mind. Because if he keeps going this way, he'll be bowing out sooner rather than later. I hope that gives you something to think about. Once again, my name's Card. Feel free to subscribe to this YouTube page if you might want to hear from me again. But goodbye for now, and have a lovely day.